What is good, rookies? And we are finally past round one. Our team is locked out. We had, all things considered, a lovely score of 2,263. And that's including having a Pal Pepper and Davidson on field. Thank God for Flex. And thank God Flynn was able to push out an 87. But without further ado, let's jump into it. Few things to go through player-wise. You'll see I've got below me just a summary of pretty much the information that is on screen this way right now. And that's just going to be a consistent thing, just in case you skip through because you want to see individual players or whatever, you can see it all here. So I'm not going to do deep analysis on the games, just going to go through the players, and just through that general idea of things, we're going to touch on the games themselves. Oh, I've missed this. I've missed the rush. I've missed the anxious waiting of trying to get into the team after lockout to rage trade. So we're going to save our trades for a separate video, if there's even a video to begin with, as I'm not entirely sure, but we'll go through some brief plans for this coming round. So let's get into it. Alrighty. So we're just going to go down a list, essentially. Sheasel, 106. Didn't do too bad. Spent some time in the forward line. I'm not sure if there's a bit to be concerned, but it is Sheasel. He can just do whatever he wants, really, around the field. So it is what it is. Zorko spent some time in the forward as well. Kicked 2 goals. Had kick-ins. Was just solid. Absolutely solid. A great pick. And then he's got West Coast next week as well. So they've got West Coast on Sunday. So really good captaincy option. We had Stewart. I actually think this 100 is solid, purely because he spent like 10 minutes or so on the bench after that knock from Jackson. This was easily a 110 plus if he didn't go off. So I love the role. Definitely getting some mid-time. Seems like they're putting a few behind the ball, which leaves Stewart into that ideal like Sicily role where they're just floating and can just roll up for that intercept and get some really good points. Also got some kick-ins. It's the perfect role. Roberts did enough. I think he had 1 kick-in. Blakey just went nuts. Very accountable. Perryman tagged all of a sudden. Perryman's a tagger now. Nothing pre-season. Round 1 just goes and tags. And on our boy? On the horny man? I don't understand. I don't know if I want to try and understand, but this is concerning. Reed and Pryor, not horrible. Reed looked a bit slow. Pryor just couldn't execute the one-on-ones properly. There's still holds until at least they're by. So we're not going to worry about getting rid of them. I think Reed has a lot more like potential in regards to scoring output. Just needs to pick up the pace. And Trainer did well. A lot of people saw the 50 was like, oh, that's going to be rough. But from a rookie perspective, 50 was pretty much around the mark for, this defensive rookies. So not too bad. The overall feeling about our defensive line is the only real concern we have is Perryman. Now, I don't really have any intentions of making any trades this week except for one, which we'll get into at the end. We don't have Baz. Do I try to get Baz in now because Geelong have Saints? Could be off the chain, could have the Winhager tag. Few things to consider there. But I do want to give Perryman another shot. I don't feel like downgrading him to, pretty much going from, let's just say, maybe a Stone and Perryman to a Baz and Rookie in defensive line. I don't know if that is a good shift of priorities, but in the same token, maybe I just feel Pryor and then just feel Trainer and whoever it might be. There's a few things. Anyway, we'll get into the trade thoughts later. Our midfield, outside of some poor performances, we had the massive score of a 173 from Dunkley. I was hot on him for a while. This is why. We knew the Jordan tag was coming. It just meant the next in line to go off the chain was Dunkley. I almost went down to Rosie to have Richards and Rosie here because I'd had a feeling Rosie would still play well, and he did. But I wasn't expecting a 173. There's been a lot of questions about Dunkley's ceiling. Here's the answer. You don't have any questions anymore. Absolutely fucking massive. If anyone knew this was coming, it would have been an easy pick. So Dunkley and Richards, both our pods, amazing. I think Richards was still about like 1% owned. Dunkley at the time of the game was 1.8% owned. Just really, really solid. Our pod picks worked. And I still think overall our backline, did very, very solid. Oliver did enough, is what it is. Jera, again, I'm quite content with a 106. O'Sullivan, he looked good. I'm just not sure. I need to review a bit more on what Foss did and what he didn't do. We'll do a bit more review when we look to trades. But at the moment, I don't really plan on making any corrections bar one, because you'll notice a midfield rookie that's missing. But Foss did okay, 51, and it's not great, but he's still making money. O'Driscoll, absolute gun, 91. Sardis, scoring potential for Sardis is there. It's just his time on ground that let him down. I'm not sure what Brad Scott's doing over there, drawing with crayons. I'm not sure why he got so much time on ground issues. It was like 53% or something like that. They threw Redmond and Perkins into the mix in the CBAs. Mass confusion. So not sure where to sit on Sardis. Still, again, at least to the buy. We'll see what happens. Nevitt, we kind of knew Nevitt was going to get in there. As soon as he wasn't nominated as the sub, it was game on. Oh, what this subbing of Hasty? What is going on? Why would you sub? Hill had 2 disposals. At the time, Hasty was subbed off. Why would you sub? I don't understand the subbing of Hasty. He was actually playing quite well. Like, yeah, he went a little bit quiet in the second, but anyway. Hasty still did well. Got a little bit of scaling up to 53. For a 119, we take it. Hewitt did enough. I kept Hewitt in instead of going like a Henderson or a Lindsay. I mean, Lindsay was crazy. We'll have a look at some trade-ins, but Hewitt did enough. I kept in because he's pretty important to my plan. And Campo did quite well, 56. You take it from a 113. Our ruck line, oh my goodness. I had a feeling that maybe we were overemphasizing Gord's impact. And I was right. And I should have followed my gut. But I also didn't want to bring in like a dud, a donut to try and get it. So it kind of is what it is. But 129, not the worst case. He got scaled down a fair bit towards the end because Keith kicked that goal to win the game on Gorn. It is what it is, but DeConing was just doing DeConing things. It'll be really interesting because you have DeConing up against Meek. So Meek might actually have a really good game against DeConing because DeConing gives out points to Rucks. But DeConing should do quite well in regards. So I still think, DeConing's still potentially a solid VC option. But happy with our ruck line. Even Boyd did some decent stuff. Enough to go 63 for a 99. Awesome stuff. Our forward line. Horny Man got tagged by Perryman. Somehow managed to still scrape through an 83. I did not watch this game. I was watching Bulldogs and North. Did enough. Rankin. I was so worried because I pretty much went Rankin over Bailey Smith and for like Sanders or Garcia. I think overall this was better than expected. A 128, really, really nice. Only maybe 18 points the diff, roundabouts. So nothing too crazy. McRae, this is exactly what we brought him in for. Absolute value. Daniel, expected more from. Really expected more from. Hoping this is just like a slow game for him. I'm going to skip over this ugly bold man. Davidson, I still think he's safe. There's no way we trade him out yet. But the annoying part is we left about 100 points on bench in the forward line from not fielding Kako. And Kako didn't even really have that much of a big game, and he still got 62. So I'm actually very confident fielding him straight and not having a loop. Well, we're going to have a loop this round anyway, but very confident throwing in Kako. And then Flynn against the Wits. Spent some time in the forward in like the fourth quarter. Still managed to scrape through an 87. I still think this is a hold. This is a hold. So we'll see how we go. With that said, what are our trades? What are we looking at? What's the instant corrections? Well, the first one which we will toy with, and I'm not entirely sure I want to do this just yet because Port do have Richmond, but we could do for an example, let's just bring in this man himself, is we go SPP to Levi. Now, that could be the only trade I make. And what this would mean is, let's just complete the trade for now. What I would try to do is I would probably do something like this. An emergency Sardis. If Hasty then gets dropped, we can use him as a loop and then fix that up later. That's probably the only trade I'm kind of looking at. And then essentially what we do is we throw Kako here and then we throw Stone in the forward line and then we loop. So if we look at the games, we got West Coast on Sunday and we got Bulldogs on Friday. So we would do this. So if Davidson plays and scores well, we keep Stone on and then we take that emergency score. And then say if we have VC on TDK, if that goes well, we captain Stone because he has the bye. So then we take the captaincy. So a lot of looping abilities in the forward line, which is great. So this is something I'm toying with. I have a feeling that Kako will be able to reach at least another 62. And given what we saw, I'm going to take the risk. He could have a really poor game, but hopefully he has a bit of a spike game, which would be really good for a best of 18. So we can kind of be a little bit more picky with our scores with this loop option. Same if you have a leak in defense. I still think we've got Richmond with Port and we've got Essendon, Adelaide. I'd probably field Trainer. Seeing everything, but I don't think we field Pryor. Pryor, we can just use the cash on top of him to move down next week, potentially once we see who's kind of got a more secure job in regards to, defensive rookies. But that's really the only trade I'm looking at the moment is just a rookie correction. Yes, not having Smith is going to be painful, but looks like Rakin is in good form. McRae's good. Horne-Francis is going to pop off as well. Daniel should have a better game against Melbourne. And let's just hope that our pods do our pod things. So really hurtful, but again, it is what it is. That's it. We're going to have another video this week looking at the Rookie Coach Open League, just to see who took out the top score there. And then we're also going to do our final trades within that video as well. So expect that video around Wednesday. As always, make sure you guys tune in Monday night. If you guys are seeing this now, it's going to be a late upload. Tune in Monday night to the review crew on Centre Bounce channel. Every Monday night, we're going to go through all four of us, how we went this week, our ranks, all that sort of stuff. But as you can see below, 1,113, currently sitting in the top 1%. The plan is to try and hold on to this as much as possible. So, thank you so much for watching. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.